Hey, what up guys? How you doing? It is Lasty here. Welcome to a new episode of the 3-tier squad builder here on FIFA 18 Ultimate Team Now. Today, we have got the special one. We've got the hybrid squads because in a couple of the previous episodes, I have sort of teased the idea of maybe doing one which isn't based on just a league or based on just a nation. We are actually going to do that today where I give you 3 hybrid squads. Now, I use the term hybrid loosely. I'm not the best squad builder out there. I'm sure there are many of you that are way better at it than me. I wanted to have at least 3 leagues and at least 4 nations in each squad, and that's what I would consider a hybrid for today, and that is how we're going to go. Obviously, we've got a budget. We've got around 20k for tier number 1, around 150 to 200k for tier number 2, and then somewhere near the million coin mark, maybe a little bit more than that for tier number 3. So it builds quite nicely. So we'll start off in tier number 1. And guys, if you could hit that thumbs up button right now, that would be amazing. Really appreciate it in advance. So we'll go into tier number 1. This is for you guys with around 20k on FIFA Ultimate Team. Now, you can get this squad in literally, by playing the game for, I don't even know, like a few hours. You could probably get 20k together to get a squad like this, no problem at all. What it features is some players from the Bundesliga, the Premier League, the Italian League, and the Portuguese League as well. So we've got 4 leagues in here. We've also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nations. So we've got 4 leagues, 6 nations. I'd consider that a hybrid. So in goal, we've got Sommer, who is an 83 rated keeper. Not a bad purchase to have either, because at some point in time, I'm sure they'll do the guaranteed inform packs again. When that happens, having an 83 rated player in your club, his value is going to rise. And it means that you could just sell him on. You know, it's not a bad idea to pick them up right now, in my opinion. I've then got a perfect link in the centre-back spot. We've got Bender and Jonathan Tah. Jonathan Tah's a beast. Not so sure about Bender, though. I didn't like him as much as I like Jonathan Tah, that's for sure. And then 2 pace lords at left back and right back. I've got Bellerin, I've got Dalbert. That just works. They're just so very, very quick. Defensively, not the greatest, but a lot of the time their pace can make up for it. Now, in the midfield, I have got João Mario, I have got Renato Sanchez, and I've got Roque Mesa. He is the only non-rare player in the squad, but he's actually a high-rated card, and I'm not sure why he's not a rare item. I'm not sure what makes someone a non-rare or a rare. I thought it had something to do with traits or, I don't know, different nations from different leagues, but I can't work it out. But he is in the squad today, and he's a great little option. Like, he's kind of like the FIFA 17 Kante to me. He's a little bit, well, he's a lot aggressive, and he does great work at just buzzing around the midfield. Renato Sanchez, as good as ever. He's just a beast. João Mario is a very fun player as well, with very good dribbling. And then up front, we have got 2 5-star skillers, and then a pace demon again. We have got Nani, we've got Gelson Martins, who are both the 5-star skillers out on the wings, and then we have Dumbia up front with his 91 pace. So it's a very quick, very fluid attack, and well, I definitely struggled with tier number 1, and I'm going to show you the goals in just a second, but at least we've got option up front. If you're up against someone with a similar team, at least you're going to have a lot of pace and a lot of option to do skill moves and make space. But I have to say, I definitely struggled with this team. Let me show you the few goals that we actually were able to score against some pretty tough opponents. So like I said a couple times there, definitely struggled with this particular squad, and I think it was just down to the fact that I've been using a lot of very high-rated players and high-rated teams lately, and going on into the daily knockout tournament where I play these games because the servers are awesome, or much better than like peer-to-peer anyway. I just come up against a lot of people with like Red Foot Champions players, Cristiano, Ronaldo, Neymar and stuff, and I would definitely say at this point in FIFA, tier 1 squads that I put in these videos, I think I might need to up their price, just because, well, to be honest, they don't really cut it anymore, and I think the average amount of coins that even the lowest end of user has got on this game right now is probably way higher than 20k, right? So do me a favor, guys, and just leave me a comment today, let me know how many coins you've got in your club, like, or what your most expensive team or your current team is worth. Like, let me know roughly what it costs, so I can gauge whether, like, whether tier 1 now needs to be 50k or even just 30k or anything like that. It'll be interesting to know how many coins you guys have got on Ultimate Team, because having daily objectives, weekly objectives, and even things like squad battles has just pumped so many more coins into the game. That's why I think you could literally start a new account and make a squad like this within a couple of hours. I really don't see it to be that difficult this year on FIFA 18. So, do we need to up the price? I think, well, right now in the video, let's up it a little bit more to tier number 2. Now then, in tier number 2, we can step that budget up somewhat. I think this is around 150 to 200k, I'm not 100% sure, and of course some players here with the ratings that they are fluctuate like crazy in price, but what we've got are some players from the La Liga, some players from the Serie A, and some players from the Premier League, so not as much of a hybrid as the previous team, but I wanted to fit a lot of these players in, and it just so happens that that meant I needed to stick with 3 leagues. But there's a whole bunch of nations in there as well, so at least it's a mixed squad anyway. We start with some Real Madrid players here in Keylor Navas and Varane at centre-back. Navas in goal, normally great for me. Gotta say, I struggled with him this time. He seemed to be tiny. For some reason, he seemed really tiny. How tall actually is he? 6'1". That's not bad for a keeper, and I don't know why, but he seemed to not really fill the goal out very well when I was using him this time. But in defence, we have Semedo and Jordan Lukaku. They're not the most expensive players in the world. The money in this team is definitely spent in other areas. Well, as you can see, in my 2 centre-backs, both 85 rated. Of course, you could go for Alexandro here, but that pushes the price of this team up quite high, meaning that I would almost classify it as a tier number 3, a little bit too expensive, and you could get the likes of Carvajal or even the ones to watch version of Semedo if you had a few extra coins in this particular league. In the midfield though, we've got Bakayoko. Again, he's kind of cheap. He's between 5 and 10,000 coins, but per player in tier number 2, I think that's kind of a good amount. And then we have 2 more expensive players, again 85 rated in Casimiro and Mark Seo. Great players. 2 very different players anyway. Casemiro's great across the board. He's got 4-star skill moves, but he's kind of little, and I wouldn't say he's as strong. Whereas Casemiro's slower, not so great on the ball, but he's a rock in midfield. A little bit like Bakayoko. They do a similar job, these two. Not the quickest, but definitely more defensive-minded midfielders. And then you have Marquisio to just buzz around, being someone who's good on the ball, good passing and stuff like that. So it's quite enjoyable. And then up front is where I've brought the OP meta players in to tier number 2 today. I've got Willian. Willian is just class. He's so quick. His dribbling is amazing. His distribution and passing is great, and then his shooting's not too bad either. You've also got like a free kick taker in Willian, but this is what you definitely need in the squad. These 2 players right here. Martial is about as good as anyone on this game. I think he can even rival the likes of Thierry Henry or something, because he's just so OP. He so works with the meta of the game. He is the one to go for. And then we have, of course, Gabrielle Jesus, the one that everyone uses in FUT Champions. And, well, every game mode, really. And, yeah, he's insanely good. He's just amazing. 4-star skills and weak foot on him. And that right there is my tier number 2. So there's quite a lot of money spent on Varane, Casemiro and Marquisio and Martial and Jesus. The rest of them are more affordable players, but put them together with an expensive team like this, and it does become like a couple of 100,000 coins, making this a good option for tier number 2. So when taking a look at the goals that I scored here, I obviously noticed that it was two players which really stood out. First one on your screens right now, Gabrielle Jesus, and then of course Anthony Martial as well. Like, they're just so good on FIFA 18. Yeah, I know I used the word meta a couple of times so far in this video, but it really is a case of there's just like a pool of players on FIFA 18, like maybe up towards 100 players or so out of the thousands and thousands that there are in the game. They just really suit the way that the game's played, and you can link them together with chemistry and stuff. And a lot of the time it comes down to like the Premier League players and stuff, because if you move to different leagues to use the players that really work on the game, you go to the Bundesliga, for example, you got that awesome triangle of Boateng, Alaba and Vidal. Yeah, they work on the game super well, but you have to pay an absolute premium for them. Whereas on FIFA 18, you could just get like buy Messi and I don't know, Aurier and stuff like that, and you're going to pay a lot less for players that seem to just work nearly as well. And if you work it out properly on the game, you can obviously get a whole team of them together, and that's when people have like the Bundesliga triangle on the right. They have Martial, they have Son, they have Jesus, they have all of those players up front, and then you could even have like Manolas, Nainggolan and stuff on the right hand side. There's plenty of players that work. Let's step up the price then. And the final squad then, tier number 3, for any of you ballers out there that have got a lot of coins and want to put a bit of a super team together, this is a great option for you. Once again, we have players from the Premier League, the Bundesliga, and the Serie A as well. So, again, not quite as great of a hybrid as tier number 1, but there are lots of good players in here, and it just works. We've also managed to bring in an icon. I figured since this is the most expensive, a lot of people try and get an icon if they've got loads of coins, and Rui Costa is without a doubt the best value for money SBC prime icon that you can get. Considering like a normal icon at this point in time, like a central one, minimum price is about 600k because of the prime icon SBCs. The prime icon SBC for Rui Costa doesn't require you to submit an icon, meaning that his actual price is somewhere in the 500k mark, somewhere in the 500 to 600k mark, meaning that he is by far the most affordable, and he's a prime icon as well, so I wanted to bring him into the squad today. But I've got Courtois, I've got Company and Bailly as my main centre-backs. Now, obviously, I'm recording this whilst the boosts are active. Regularly, Company wouldn't be that great, but he is still a little bit better than his regular card, which is still pretty solid. I've got Florenzi, an expensive right-back in the Serie A. We've got Ashley Young. You could just use, I don't know, Danny Rose here if you wanted to, but since this is more expensive, we've gone for Ashley Young. He's quite likely to get a second in form, but this is one that I got from doing an SBC, and of course we need to wait a couple of days or a day or so until the new team of the week is out before we even know if Ashley Young's going to get in for his 2 goals last week. In the midfield then, I've gone for Dele Alli. Dele Alli's a well-rounded midfielder in the Premier League that costs around 25,000 coins. You could definitely fit him into a tier 2 side, but I also think he's one of those, like, he's up there. I think he's a top performer on this game, deserves to be in a top tier side. And then Nainggolan, yeah, you're going to pay big bucks for him, and he will perform for you. High work rates. He's just going to get up and down that pitch so very well. Absolute workhorse, just a beast. And then, as I said, Rui Costa, best value for money prime icon there is, and he's a good performer as well. Great pace, dribbling, passing, shooting's pretty good as well. His finishing lets him down, but if you're playing him as like a centre mid or something, the majority of the shots you're taking are like long shots, and they're going to work. They're going to work just fine. So we now move on to the strike force. That is going to be Divock Origi. This is the inform version. I've got Marco Royce, who is expensive for a regular item, and then of course Aubameyang, who is very expensive for a regular item. I mean, we're talking about paying 212k here for a normal gold, like a rare gold player, and that is because he has a blistering pace, good finishing ability, and overall just that squad in general is a bit of a mega team. Like, lots of people, I mean, after playing with this squad, lots of people either quit or message me saying pay to win. So you could tell that people think that this is an expensive squad when they come up against me. It's a nice team. Obviously, it's going to be a lot more expensive if you were to buy Rui Costa rather than do the SBC. But I think he's a very popular SBC card that a lot of people have got. So why not put him in today? So there you go, guys. Those are the 3 teams. It's time to show you the goals with this tier number 3 side. So this team easily outperformed the other 2, just as I sort of would have expected. You know, I always expect tier number 3 to be, well, I always hope for tier number 3 to be, 1, the most playable, and 2, the most enjoyable, just because it's fun to use expensive players on the game, right? And I have like a plethora of them or in this particular starting 11. So Marco Royce dominates quite well in the game, but he's lacking in stamina. So towards the end of the game, you're going to find that, I don't know, he just doesn't feel particularly quick or anything, or he just feels a bit lethargic and stuff towards the end. But in the first half, you definitely get a huge amount of Marco Royce at your disposal. His pace and dribbling and shooting ability alongside the the skills and stuff that he's got, absolutely nuts, and he is a class player. I'm actually surprised that I don't come up against him more. Maybe going back to what we were talking about the meta players and you know, what works on the game and stuff, and the overpowered players in tier number 2, what we were just talking about with Martial and stuff. Maybe because Martial's 30k and Royce is 70 odd, maybe that's the reason why people don't use him as much. That, and of course the fact that to link Royce up to someone good, you get Aubameyang, and he's over 200k. So it definitely strikes to me that there's still a lot of people that don't have enough coins to build this tier 3 squad. Again, leading to me to ask you guys to leave me what coinages you've got in your clubs right now, because it'll be very interesting to know like who fits into what tier and which is the most common tier. I would say at this point it's obviously tier number 2, and I would, if I had to throw an average out there of the, I don't know, like the popular user that likes to play FIFA Ultimate Team and doesn't just pick it up on at Christmas, or doesn't just pick it up on game 1 or day 1 of release and then not play it after a month or so. I'd say people that play FIFA Ultimate Team quite often, FIFA 18, have got anywhere between 200 and 500,000 coins, even without putting money in. Like, I know on my Road to Glory, and we don't play FUT Champs over on the Road to Glory and stuff. I play squad battles every now and again, just play the game to enjoy it, and just to show you that how easy it is to make coins this year. I've got nearly 1 million coins at my disposal if I sold everything. Probably over 1 million coins if I sold absolutely everything. So it'd be interesting to know. I think it's just fun to know like who's got what and stuff. And well, as you can see with this particular tier, people like Aubameyang and Royce really tore it up. The goals that I score with Aubameyang, you just wouldn't score with a lot of other players, because he is just an absolute rapid man. Okay, and to wrap things up today, obviously being the hybrids that I've got between the 3 tiers, like I can't make that into like the best possible version, but easily tier number 3 performed the best for me. I was expecting that. They are the best players, but on the bench we have some notable mentions of players that I thought did very well for me. Martial, Jesus, Bakayoko, Sanchez and Mesa, all of them from the Premier League. Those guys are outstanding. And then we also have a couple of Portuguesers in Semedo and Nani from other leagues, who also I noticed to be good players for my teams. So there you have it, guys. That is the 3-tier squad builder on hybrids, or mixed squads if you would like to call them that. If you could smash a like on the video, that would be amazing. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new around here. Have a great day, guys, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.